Thank you. Just want to welcome everybody to the Finance Committee meeting. As you look at the itinerary here, we need to look over the financials. I think we just sent those out to everybody. Not gonna make nothing really here as these are again the monthly expenses that we have that appear here, nothing out of the ordinary.
There was one non-recurring expense over 1,000, which was Rita's reimbursement. Presumably, I believe it's for stuff for the training, that $1,000 some dollars.
No, there's $1,000 for rent.
No, there was an expense reimbursement for you.
Oh, expenses for not only for training, but for anything we expend for that's not paid by the invoice, I cover and get reimbursed.
The receipts.
No, I haven't submitted the catering yet. We just did that this month. That's 826. Yeah, all of that, all of the expenses. I'll wait to the end of the month. So like for June, we will submit that at the end of June, 1st of July. So if there's a particular May expense on there, those are May expenses. Then there's an itemization of what those are.
And Laura, you see the itemization of her expenses.
Yes.
So, I mean, if we need to.
Before they go to Otis.
Right,
Yes.
that's more operational in my view.
Well, it's just that under the bylaws,
Right.
anything over 1,000, so I've got a resolution.
No doubt, no doubt.
It's just the only reason I pointed that out.
And that's
So,
some of the things that I want to look at, because I mean, I don't know if we need, I mean, like I said,
no,
as long as Laura has approved those. I mean, if
the total.
there's something there that needs to be addressed, you would address it from the operational standpoint and not really at the board level here, in my opinion. Standpoint.
And just for information, the expenses like that 1,000, I now know what you're talking about. It's a combination of small expenses that total up to 1,000. It's not a $1,000 expense.
Right.
Okay, just so to be clear.
And again, the
Yeah.
receipts are
Yeah.
turned into Laura and she approves those. Like I said.
No, the only issue is we have that weird provision in our bylaws that anything over 1,000, the finance committee has to pass a resolution authorizing. So we've just been doing that. And we want to change.
Yeah, that's
Going
the
forward.
as is, but going forward,
Exactly.
we're hoping that you're gonna recommend to us some processes that are a little bit more efficient than
Right.
for having to review an expense at the $1,000.
I'll do some research, see what schools do and some other public entities. I mean, obviously, that's probably the model to follow, something established.
Yes,
All right,
and we've
Can you do?
we've had
got my first assignment.
yeah, we've had some conversations about that as for to what other locals, the water company, MSD do, what their small dollar purchase limit is.
And that was an arbitrary figure, like before Laura came on board, when it was just me and working with the committee that we came up with.
Okay.
And in thinking about that, I've already started working on the expenses for this month, which will be almost $2,000 based on all the board training and catering and stuff that I've covered. So however we need to handle that, let me know.
Any questions? Do you have any questions, Mike?
So we need to adopt a motion that would allow us to pay the
To
expenses.
approve the payment of those.
Option two.
That's what we have to do right.
Is there a motion to approve those?
A second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
And before I forget, I was having got consent.
Okay.
It's the standard resolution. We'll just put that in.
Now, after that, look, I really want, we did enter into a contract with Baird and Chip as the managing director that we will be working with. Me and staff that, he has. One of the things I definitely want to reiterate, to you, look here, man, we still would love to see somebody of color helping us on this. If that's as we move forward. I know, we, had that at the Arena Authority, so I mean, that's definitely something that we want to, try to make sure that that happens as we continue to do some business, just from the standpoint of, want to make sure diversity is king and, is important to us, so I know that you will work towards that. But then, just kind of wanted you to give an overview of, the services and what you want to be, from what you've had, what you think that you will be able to help us with, as we move forward, and some questions.
Okay. Well, couple of things. One, on the first part of it, on my team, I don't have anybody that doesn't look like me on my team, other than females. And so, I think about this, we haven't met before, but at our one meeting, I talked about, we have Ms. Douglas and I have some history, with St. George's Community Center and my commitment to this. I've taken this job out of love, not out of money, because this is an unbelievably hard task. At $30 million is supposed to be $3 billion. That's kind of the game, right? I mean, I think it's so hard, because if it was just money that would fix this, we wouldn't be sitting here, because it would have already been fixed. So we've got to figure out what the hell to do to make it work. And I think about St. George's Community Center, and that's 2000. God, I think it's 2002 or 3 or 4 now. It was a long time ago. And I personally know what it takes. And you and I talked a little bit about it. It's not the money. I mean, it could be $300 million you're sitting on right now, and it would not fix what we're trying to accomplish, or what you're all are charged with accomplishing. And so it's going to take a lot of partnerships and a lot of conversations. And I feel like that's when you ask, what am I supposed to do here to help? I think that's the single skill that I bring to the table the most, is bridging some conversations, and I mean, the 30 million, the number is nice to afford and kind of pay for meeting and pay, making some seed investments and stuff like that. But that's number one. I think I'm supposed to be thinking about how I can help on that end. That's one. The diversity, getting back to the first question, the diversity issue, I remember, well, I can make a long talk about it. I want to say, I'm going through one of my goals for my team. We have this thing, it's values and goals, and we have these team values that we don't sacrifice on. And when we make our annual goals, they have to align with these team values, and these values that are of our team have to align to the firm values. And inclusion is sort of a buzzword that's sort of overused right now. But I think what our team came up with before it was really a buzzword thing was one of our top values is nurturing growth and talent. And so how do you do that? Well, being a realist and knowing where I live in Louisville, Kentucky. And if I put a job posting out there, what my applicants are going to look like? They're going to look like me, So what one of the goals that are, all of our goals have to tie back to our values. One of our values is nurturing growth and talent. I'm a big believer in genetic lottery. There's a lot of bright kids born in some tough parts of the world and wherever, in Russia or whatever, and they never get a chance to get out. We have to kind of create that chance and opportunity. So the way I was going to tackle nurturing growth and talent in inclusion was to an internship program. So one of my personal goals, one of my goals for my team is that ties up to our values and our team share goals is to work towards establishing an internship program. And the reason why that's relevant to where you were talking about is, my goal is to, towards the end of the year, I've got U of L and I've got Bellarmine. I've got two, home talent sources right here. And that's the way I think, that's how I'm going about it. I don't know why I felt compelled to share that. I just kind of deal in honesty. I'm like, I don't have anybody on my team right now. I got to build that. My answer for building it though is to start with internship and you just have to start where you can. I don't know. So yeah, so I don't know. This is a daunting task. And so were you gonna say something?
I was just going to say that I think that's a good start. If you're honestly admitting you don't have anyone on your team now, who fits the description of what we're talking about. The idea of growing someone like that is a very attractive idea.
Yeah.
So I think that's something we can support. It would be helpful every now and then if that young person could be doing some work for us, or come to the board meetings.
Yeah,
There's some assignments that have to do with our business.
Exactly. Yeah, William knows that that's kind of how I operate. I bring young people to meetings they don't belong at because that's the way they learn, So.
Have an idea of the qualities of that person needs, leverage our networks within the community.
Yeah. Exactly. So that to me is how it starts,
That's good too. That's good too. Now, let me ask you, you were talking about identifying partnerships and all. One of the big things that we need you to do for us is to help us to realistically project how much money we anticipate get on an annual basis once the TIF funds will be given to us. What's the anticipated amount that you would see us receiving? Because that dollar amount is a key component of what our budget will be going forward. It's also key to helping us figure out how we want to do partnerships and how in terms of development, how do we want to do development partnerships? What's in our best interest? Because all of that is based on how much money do we anticipate having. So we need you really to tell us what's our future, what do we see getting financially in the future.
Okay.
That's really critical. Yeah, we need that.
Right.
And I know Department of Revenue at the state has been working on the base year calculation. And we've been talking to legal at DOR as well to document some things so we can connect with the people at DOR.
Well, that Gary Morris, the
It's
TIF.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary's fantastic. I mean, he's really nice and they are surprisingly open, about when I don't know, for whatever reason, Gary understands Louisville's role in the state is sort of an economic engine and he knows it needs to work. So he overshares probably a little bit to help. So it'll be exciting to start working with him on this. That is not my skill set, like TIF projections, but I know how to nose to the right way. I'm a hound dog. I guess that's my assignment. My job is I'm a hound dog. Okay.
But the good news is our friends at the state are willing to share projections and to help us.
Okay.
To get that. Mhm.
Much more so than county perhaps, but
That they- How much do we anticipate getting on an annual basis? Which all of that information is the basis of an operating budget, which is a critical piece that we need going forward. Now, we can make some projections ourselves based on what kind of staffing we think we need, et cetera. But in order for us to do an operating budget, we need to know how much money we anticipate getting from the TIF. And then we need to base our ideas about staffing and all that on that piece of information. Knowing how much we get from the TIF, we'll get from the TIF as well, informs us of what's in our best interest in a business transaction. That is, should we be an investor or should we just be a link, someone to bring people together? You see, what are the opportunities where we're gonna have money on the table? And what are those opportunities where we should have goodwill and influence on the table?
Mhm.
You see what I'm
Okay.
getting at? Yeah. Because the worst possible scenario for us is to be overextended,
Right.
to underestimate what our money is going to be,
Right.
or to
Not to-
underestimate it in a way that kind of cripples us in the risks that we take or the programs that we say we want to support.
Yeah, I mean, there's no what I hear you saying is there's not a real great feel, and nor how could there be without having the first look at information, but it's almost as bad to be overextended as it is to be ill-prepared for more money, like,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
we just need to get an idea how much we're talking about here,
Yes.
start shaping some things out.
We need to know what our financial
Yeah,
profile is,
okay.
because that informs us about how far we can go and what kind of partnerships we can be
Mhm.
involved in. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay.
We're on the same page.
All right.
It's gonna be a lot of discovery. I mean,
Yes.
I cannot emphasize enough from my personal feeling that whether this is 30 million's not what this thing's about. It's
Just seed money.
it's just it's a little,
Gets us in the neighborhood.
yeah.
That's,
yeah.
that's all it does.
So
gives us over the time to start seeing
Mhm.
the proceeds of the TIF.
yeah,
Yes, but again, I would say that projecting what that annual revenue is gonna be,
Mhm.
that is the biggest piece. That's the biggest piece.
What about the loan stuff?
Yeah. The other part. Yes, let me take a deep, Amy and I have had several conversations about the tax lending. And believe it or not, there are some models out there. I think it's just a matter of us putting it on a piece of paper. I don't think that that's a big problem for us to develop something. The key part is going to be the communications part to the community. And I would suggest that one of the other things is we need to have a legal partner, because people will literally be signing a loan document where they are obligated to pay back a certain amount of money to us. It would be best if all of those folks are represented by counsel, and it's possible to develop a situation where they can have legal representation so that the transaction can really be an arm's length transaction between us and them. Mhm. But they're gonna have to obligate themselves on a loan instrument to pay us back. So rather than us playing both sides of being trying to represent the lender and the borrower, which I think is not a good circumstance. That
So
we
if we
need
get something like that, we gotta pick a part. We represent the taxpayers.
But we can do that, I think, with no cost or minimal cost.
Yeah, no, what we'd be looking is, and I've already started having a few discussions with Louisville Bar Association about either finding, if they want to start a volunteer program that they could staff it, because this is not going to cause conflict problems for most lawyers because we're on the other side and most people are going to be dealing with us in an adversarial capacity. Or if there's a large firm out there that wants to adopt it and make it their project.
Yes, their pro bono project where they're.
We should be able to find legal representation that we can offer people if they choose it. And it even help them make the decision, do you even want to take out this loan?
Mhm.
Because there's not a guarantee that you're going to get a tax refund if you have other tax liability. That's to pay it back. And that's going to be the communication part, both for the lawyer and our communications. Just because it's a refundable tax credit, if you have other tax liability that offsets it, you may not end up with a refund that comes back.
But but at the same time, we're gonna still owe us the
You
money.
still owe us the money.
Yeah. So at any rate, the short answer is Amy and I are still in the middle of researching all of it. There are a bucket of options and models out there. And we've all also started thinking about local partners that might be willing to help us. I've had some conversations too with the lawyers at the Legal Aid Society who do community development work, who would be willing to assist. But the difficulty there is not everyone who would apply for the loan would also qualify for legal services assistance.
I mean. There's no. Firm and what the firm trying to do. So. Work, I mean, something. They could allocate an associate to and like, I mean, we'll handle.
Or several associates.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's not like it's going to be a lot of time.
Well, and it's also for a large firm, you don't have a lot of pro bono opportunities for your transactional associates. You do for litigation associates, but not often for your transactional associates. So they're often excited to have an opportunity to give their transactional lawyers that kind of experience.
So there are lots of reasons why it would be easy for us to find a legal partner who would agree to do it at no cost. Lots of reasons. So that's not the difficult part. The difficult part is going to be of the possibilities out there, putting together the ideal process for local people. But again, Amy and I have been talking about that. And I know personally, I've been reviewing what's happening in other jurisdictions. And we still have a little time before we have to hit the ground running. And let me add this, and maybe this is too much editorializing, but part of I think the heavy lifting on this is not going to be the mechanics of how the process is going to work.
Testing, testing.
That's what you can hear the test.
So it works now,
Okay.
on the testing at least.
It's been.
It's back.
Okay, excellent.
Thank
Don't know
Thank
that.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Kay. And then as we're talking, if we can just kind of maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Share what they will need to help us on. What do you think?
Oh, I was just addressing the concern that Mike had about not going to the public with something that's half done. So I was just saying that we would go out to the public with the plan once it had been fully outlined, reviewed, and have input and approval from the board.
And then you can say another, what you were hoping Barry's gonna have us project out.
Yeah, the TIF,
In the operating budget.
Operating budget for the loan program and also the capital.
yes,
And
yes, that's the piece.
Work like. with the EPA and conferences over the last assessment and how many of our residential taxpayers, based on their records, would qualify for this, because it's not every residential taxpayer.
Okay, item one, tip projection. Item two, operating budget. Item three, just something that Amy and Laura are gonna work on as far as from the lending kind of program. And then item four, the PBA loan projection. And those are the really four
Big things.
immediate.
Yeah, we've got our work cut out for us over the short term now that we've got Baird.
Policies and best practice.
That's good.
Chip started out
I know.
telling us that's one of the things he's gonna do, that we're gonna check on what the,
Other organizations do. for
Uh-huh.
expenditures.
let's put that on the list,
That
so it'll be
Here's more
explicit.
exposure to that.
William, will you recap you said the number one tip projections, number two?
I'm gonna flip it because I do think, one is the tip projects and the policy and best practices moving forward. That was the first thing that we discussed. And then the operating budget. And then the, loan tax lending program, which Amy and Laura are really working on. And then, we need Barry to help work with the PBA loan projection. And how much we're gonna need for that, or how much we require, based upon what we have. I think those are really the things that we need done. that we need to push forward. Movement and
One other thing I would just add to that, based on a question that I received from Otis, and then I told him I would ask, they're not trying to push us out the door. But they're trying to get some kind of idea when the transition from the work they've been doing as the fiscal agent will transfer to Bear. If that's a part of the plan. So I just put that out there because I told him I would ask, we were having finance committee.
I think as we look at this, get some, recommendations, without them.
Okay. Part of this is just, as I said at the very beginning, I'm just trying to explore and see where I can help, and I'm gonna be the first one to nope out if I need to be noping out, and certainly point you guys in the right direction, but
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
Right, like on that, it may be we end up subcontracting that and to someone from the TIF district.
yeah. Nothing's making me run off yet.
you didn't explain that you can't run off. Part of it.
Nah, it's not gonna run. This is gonna be fun. It's daunting.
It's gonna be fun.
And today I really see
one of the things that would it be on legal, looking at operational standpoint, okay. You see some things of how we get structured, right, whether this is what, and some of this stuff, it may be, okay, hey, yeah, this is what needs to be done. Maybe that you do some, but there could be, like you said, strategic alliances, partnerships to help us get to where we.
Yes. Take a lot of people pulling together. I mean, that's the magic.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anything else?
It's up to you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, do you have any, anything updates for us as far as any other
No.
informational? No.
Just some things that we'll share at the board meeting. We have, I think everybody knows that we lost a board member because she's now the Commonwealth's attorney.
Right.
The state has named a new person
Oh, good.
really quickly. So.
It's too bad.
It sure is.
Now, almost turn.
Yeah, sure is. It's bittersweet, really.
Anything else you? Did you think? Thank you.
No,
Needs to be.
no, I mean, I think you know, Amy's sort of my easy go-to for some of these things, but you know, Ms. Douglas, I think I just need to start getting in a routine of touch base with you weekly and seeing where we go. Cause I mean, this is stuff that we want to have something next month, I presume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have all day. So, yeah, I'm anxious to help and I appreciate the opportunity to just be here with you guys and it's gonna be fun.
We're excited. This is really,
You have board meeting or there need to, or just.
It's okay, I was going to be,
Mhm.
yeah. You know, I need to be, I need to, I like to walk around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, to get my hands on things and get in there
Dog, right? Is that what you?
with the hound dog. I'm gonna be the hound dog.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and I unfortunately can't be there next Monday, Mark's cover, I'll be driving back from Buffalo with my daughter from college.
And we'll be at Louisville Central Community Center, okay, our June and July meetings. We'll be there because the Y has summer programs for their students.
Hmm.
And I'll make sure he's on the.
I have a 3 o'clock meeting with U of L. What time is your
4:30.
4:30? Okay,
Mhm.
I'll be at U of L. So I can go there.
Yeah, it's at
Down here.
13th and Mahoma,
Alright.
From 4:30 to hopefully, I don't know that the agenda will be that long, but. Yeah,
You got it.
4:30.
So. Thank
I'll make sure I'll add him on.
concern may not be the right word, but, one of the issues I'm here to discuss, you know, the agreement that we have is fairly open-ended. Which we expected that because we're in for work on. But I think, you know, we've done, two good steps today, but I didn't know how you see things from your standpoint, you know, what you, based on what you know about us and where we're going. And what you see your role as.
Yeah, well, evolving, like you said, I mean, I think today is more clarity. There's some specific things I can work on right now. You know, trying to get a handle on TIF and communicating with Gary Morris, Department of Revenue, and really just putting some framework. It's gonna evolve. That's just the honest truth, you know? And I just don't want to get in a position of promising a bunch of stuff that I can deliver on and not being able to do it. So that's why I keep hedging and saying, let me walk and just sort of go along on a month-to-month basis. That's why I'm saying that, because I don't want to promise a bunch of help and a lot of connections and make bunch of stuff I can't deliver on. That's my biggest fear, to be honest. So I think I have a couple specifics, like, you know, that helps me get starting some focus. Like we have the policies around approvals for spending. It's a clear something clearly I can work on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is just as ambiguous as this whole thing, not ambiguous, probably the right accurate word, but it's just kind of wide open. My assignment sort of is wide open right now, and I want to bring it into a focus because I don't want to ever be in a position when you guys are pointing to me for an answer and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be answering.
Well, I don't wanna see a situation where there's expectations on our side of this, but, your expectations are different. And,
Right.
We're missing.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree. And I think that's where us kind of getting in a flow of communication and start way will lead to way. And I think we're a lot closer to maybe where we need to be in terms of having a clear understanding what is Baird's job at this table. I'm glad you raised the point because that's what I want to get to.
Certainly was able to pin some things down.
Right.
It is.
Chip, do I work with you or is there someone else I need to work with regard to coordinating a weekly touch base with Laura? Because I think as soon as we get that on the calendar, that's going to help to start crystallize even more.
Yeah.
That
Me.
work directly with you.
For now. Mhm.
Do you respond better by email, text, or all of the above?
I love all above.
Okay, all right. Okay,
I do. Texting is great too,
okay, so I'll do that. I'll get that, get y'all set up on
Okay.
just a recurring weekly. Whether you want it in person or Zoom or over the phone even. Just let me know what works,
Okay.
okay?
And then this from the standpoint, I do want, look at that, if I just appreciate your willingness to jump in there, because this is a big deal, but, the commitment Baird has made to our community. But above that, the personal commitment that you have really made really clear too about trying to want to do things differently than they were done in the past.
Mhm.
And, I appreciate that.
Because what was done in the past hasn't quite worked. And so, that's like, we can do it. It's just daunting.
No. Do you have anything? You sure? Question? Anything you want? Have you met Chip before?
Hopefully, we will be in contact.
She shows up.
Sure.
Okay,
Mhm.
if no other questions, no other discussion, do we need any public comment, or do you have to put anything out there?
No, not in these meetings. These are just committee meetings.
All right, what is that? Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. All right, thank you.
I'm sorry that I got lips.
Oh,
When first for the first.
let me shut this down, please. And since we're done.
Any other football?